Okay, we are on Nancy's metal roof, and we're just checking out how it was installed, what's good, what's bad, what's ugly. We're gonna start here at the back of this cricket, and if you'll notice, it has a small cricket here, you know, behind the chimney, and it looks like a valley piece should be in there. If we look at this valley, we'll see that both sides should come down over the valley to allow you know, drainage. But on this, what they have is they have just a piece of trim over this section. So this section here, these panels should be over this, where it's like a valley. They've got it caulked up. It's going to be okay for a while, but eventually you are definitely going to have problems with this. Moving on along, one of the main things with a ribbed metal roof like this is screws going in between your plywood or your substrate and not grabbing any wood. So I found a couple. Now here's one, and if we do this, the drill is just going to spin the screw. So that tells us that the screw is in between wood or boards. Let's take this one and just kind of give an example. So that one's gripped because it was it's in good solid wood. We'll go to this one and see what's going on with this. Now that one gripped as well. Looks like you got a few kind of loose screws up here, some that's in between the boards. What's really kind of concerning is how they did your flashing, where it transitions from your metal roof to your log cabin. It looks like they use 4-foot sections for some reason. It looks like that one might be a 6 or an 8. Looks like this might be a 6 or an 8, but just the way they tied into your log cabin is a little bit scary. If we look right here, anytime you ever have a, you know, like a really good snowstorm, it'll build up over this. They've also got like a water catch here. They kind of didn't deal with this in a good way. Eventually, once this caulk wears out, you'll start having problems in this corner here. And as I was looking, I found a few areas where they actually had some screws that went all the way through, but they're gone now. So I don't know where these screws are. I can put a couple in for you, but they've got sections like that. Looks like your screws are pretty straight for the most part. Looks like they went on a line. However, some do go between pieces of wood. Now, looking under some of this metal, it looks like you do have some water rushing over the valley, and it's starting to get to your underlayment. You've got a couple panels that are kind of bucking up here a little. You know, a good wind, you know, might give you a little damage, or they might get pulled loose. This pipe in your valley was a pretty bad place to have a pipe. Preferably you would want to move that or deal with it in a little bit different way than they did. Yeah, but you know, your flashing along the top is kind of haphazard. Looks like somebody stepped on your capping metal here. You've got some debris buildup in the valleys where, you know, this piece of trim probably should have came up under this capping, or should have ended back here somewhere. But as we fill up under here, it doesn't have any of the batten strip under it. If we pull this a little bit, you can see that screw just came up. So we're gonna hit it with a screw gun and it's going to start spinning. So what that tells us is this screw is not hitting any substrate. So we'll see if this one is. That screw is not hitting any substrate. That screw is not hitting any substrate. So it's not hitting any wood. Looks like this one might be. So this one, well, it's not hitting anything either. So basically this is pretty loose. I can push this back down, but this isn't hitting any substrate. I don't know how many you have like that. It looks like these might be hitting something. Yeah, none of these screws are hitting any substrate. So eventually you're gonna have an issue with these because they're not into any wood. They're just through the metal. Those will cause issues in the future. If we look at this corner, we see this metal just wasn't taken care of in a great way. We're going to put our screw gun down, and this screw is not in wood. This screw is not hitting wood. That screw's not hitting wood. If it was, the screw would snug up. And just going on around, we see, you know, just the metal flashing. The way it was put on here, it looks like it could have been, they could have did a little bit of a better job doing this. So if we look under here, we see debris starting to build up. What'll happen is debris will start building up. It'll work its way over this corner eventually. And again, you have screws that aren't in wood. That's a really big red flag on one of these roofs, because once you get them to where they're not in wood, there's not a lot you can do with them. You really got to get creative if you want a solution. So we'll just kind of snug this one up. All right, we got another screw that's not in wood. It's just, so it looks like that's going to be your big issue in the future. Your screws not being in wood. So let's see if the video has stopped. Nope, it's still going. So yeah, just looking around, I mean, they did some good things, some bad things. Looks like they got kind of creative on this. That doesn't look horrible, I mean, but what we have right here is we have a water trap. I don't know if you could see right there where this comes down. Water's going to get behind that siding. It'll start destroying this wood here. I'm really concerned about that detail there and the one on the other side. Other than that, this doesn't look horrible. What you would probably be worried about is if the screws caught wood or not. That one caught wood. That one's snug. That one's snug. Oh, and just coming up here and looking at this detail here. This is your edge metal. This should be underneath this panel. It should be worked in underneath somehow. But what they did was they just put it on top. Eventually, when this caulk wears out, water will just start coming through here. You'll start having issues in this area and along that edge. On a grade from a A to a F, I would probably give this a D-, based on screw placement and just the details of your flashing.